ranked events are finally here within World of Tanks console, and today's update news for World of Tanks is going to look through all of the information that we have been given for this ranked event and how you can earn rewards, along with the fact that we have some other news to look through, specifically the tanks reforged for the French heavies, and also what else is happening this week with the bundles, premium tanks and things that you should buy within the game and take advantage of. So first things first, let's get into the ranked event like we've talked about. So what is this ranked event? Well, it is an event that lasts 1 week, so you've got until the 24th of January from the 18th of January. So when you're watching this, it will be live and you can take part. And this is essentially an event in which you can earn some rewards. Let's take a look at the rewards first and then how you can actually achieve these rewards. So you've got 7 days. What you have to do is complete minimum number of battles in order to appear on the leaderboard for each day. Now, once you've completed and basically got yourself through these leaderboards, you'll be able to then get rewards, and you can see the rewards right here. So what do I mean by this? So on day 1, in order to actually feature yourself on the leaderboard, you have to play a minimum of 5 battles. Once you've completed 5 battles, you'll see how you stack up against everyone else on the leaderboard. And then as you go through, the amount of battles required to actually showcase yourself on the daily leaderboard will increase. And you can see here up to 30 battles, and you have to do that by day 6. And then day 7, the leaderboard final, you will have at least 30 games or 30 battles minimum. Let's take a look at why you probably want more than that, and why that would be beneficial. So I guess something that we'll look at first, before we do that actually, is the tanks that you can play to be able to compete in this ranked event. So requirements, what do you have to do? You have to play in a tier 10 vehicle only. This is only available for the World War II game mode, which is really, really good. I think that there's been a lack of World War II content coming out, at least specifically for World War II. And this gives you a minimum of 30 battles to play using the eligible vehicles, which are the following: the T110E5, the T57 Heavy, the IS-4, the IS-7, the Object 705A, the Object 277, the Object 279E, and the Object 260. As far as the tanks that I think are going to be really, really good, and the ones that there is actually, I guess, something that you want to actually do and play in, will be things like the T57 Heavy. Autoloaders typically can deal more damage than the rest of the tanks. You have things like the Object 277, which is a really, really competitive kind of medium heavy tank. It is a heavy tank technically, but it plays a lot like a medium tank but can actually bounce rounds. And then you of course have things like the 279E Early, which is basically the tank that you want to go in if you want to block a load of damage. IS-7, like we featured in one of the most recent videos on the channel, where you can basically boost this thing up to a light tank speed on a heavy tank, makes it really, really fun. But whether it's super, super competitive, I think it's good, but I don't know if it's perfect and top tier. As far as now looking to getting yourself on the leaderboard, what do you have to do? Well, in order to come top, you essentially have to actually come top in terms of the average total damage, direct and assistance damage, and the average base experience. So what does that actually mean in terms of being able to try and get the highest total? So what you want to do, obviously play a tank that can basically give you the highest total damage, something that you're used to within the game. So if you're used to the Object 277, I wouldn't recommend suddenly playing the T57 Heavy, which you've played 2 games in. Obviously pick a tank that you're really used to, that you can play well in, and you can be super, super consistent. And then as far as actually getting you the average basic speed, the things that you want to be looking for are, in terms of getting extra basic speed on top of typical damage, what you want to make sure that you're doing is going for tracks and penning shots. You want to then also be looking at going for the last final hit on any opponents that you're coming up against to get the destroyed. And the more you can destroy within a single battle mean that you can essentially get more XP, because that's what gives you the most XP within the game, is actually when you destroy an opponent. That's what gives you the really good base XP. So combine them both together and then hopefully you'll have enough to be able to come within the top 100, which is the top tier reward, or at least the top bracket of rewards that you can receive within the game. Top 50 to top 100, you get basically terrible rewards, to be honest. I think that they get the rewards so bad from Wargaming's point of view. The top 100 players get 100,000 silver. Like, that's literally less than one game in Cold War, and 2,600 free XP. Yeah, pretty terrible. Then obviously we have the top 50, which includes 26 to 50. You get 1 day of premium time and half a Cold War game playing in a premium. Yeah, terrible once again. Then the top 25, wow, you get a confidential keycard, which you're basically getting 250 gold from, and then 2 days of premium time and a full game's worth of Cold War silver and a little bit of free XP. Obviously then as you move forward, you're hoping the rewards get better, and on top 6 to 10 you're going to be able to get the confidential keycard times 2, so that's 500 gold minimum within those 2 keycards, and then you're going to get 3 days of premium and 1.5 Cold War games, and to be honest with you, if you're using XP boosters, it's just over 1 Cold War game, at least on average. And then you're looking at top 5, you finally get a classified keycard. Wow, how amazing. For coming literally top 5 in the entire game, playing in a tank, you're getting 1 classified keycard, 2 confidential keycards, 3 days of premium, 700,000 silver, and 17,500 free XP. And then if you come top in the entire game, playing in this ranked event after you complete the 7 days, and you eligible playing 30 battles, you'll get 1 top secret keycard, 2 classified keycards, 2 confidentials, 7 days of premium, 1.2 million silver, and 30,000 free XP. That would be a fantastic reward for the top 100 players. Oh wait, no, sorry, top 1 player in the game. Yeah, I think that Wargaming have got the rewards ratio wrong, and they're not really giving you too much, considering this is supposed to be something that is trying to promote you into playing lots and getting better and learning the game, and these rewards just aren't really it. You know, me personally, I don't know, if I really tried, I might be able to come in the top 50. I don't know. And the fact that you'd have to really try to be able to get 1 day of premium and 175,000 silver, yeah, they just have not got this right, in my personal opinion. And you can see here the first leaderboard update on January 19th. So I guess it's an interesting thing, but something I think that they've got slightly wrong with the rewards ratio, but it is a good sign for any of you that are looking to get a little bit more competitive within World of Tanks console. So let's take a positive from this, and just hoping that the next event that they come around with the Tank Ace, be a little bit better than this one. Obviously then the daily leaderboard, we have first leaderboard update, January 19th, which is the day of release on this video, so you can check that out. And then you have the prizing, which will be donated into your account within 72 working hours, so 3 days, obviously. Then we have the tier 10 double silver week, so between now and next Tuesday you'll be able to get double silver. This is really good. You're basically able to get that on any tier 10 vehicle, so it's really pumping up the numbers within tier 10. Wouldn't want to be playing tier 9s or tier 8, especially if you're stock at this current moment in time, because of the promotion on tier 10 vehicles within World War II. So yeah, maybe it's a good time to play tier 6, if I'm being really honest with you, because you probably aren't coming up against as many tier 8s within the game. So there you go. If you want to take advantage of Tech Tree tanks and this Tank Ace ranked event within World of Tanks console, then make sure you do so this week. That's not the only thing, however, this week. We have tanks reforged and on track to the French heavy tanks like we've talked about previously, but we've actually got the key statistics and how they've changed and what that is really going to mean for all of the tanks in the game. So first one that we actually have is the BDR G1B, the tier 5 heavy tank from the French line. This tank is absolutely fine within the game. I don't know why Wargaming felt like they needed to buff this tier 5. In fact, I think this is probably one of the strongest heavy tanks at tier 5 in the game, and the fact that they've given it now more armor on all of the turrets that you can get on it, and you've also got better hull armor, you've got better dispersion, and you've also got better dispersion during movement and rotation on the top chassis within the game. So yeah, this tank is going to get a massive buff, and it really didn't need it. Then we have the French tier 6, the ARL, which is essentially getting some really good armor buffs, and so you can see the armor behind the mantlet going from 0 to 50, so no longer are you probably ever going to get penned through the mantlet. You've also got the frontal turret armor going up from 110 to 125, and then on the second turret you're going to get 110 to 150, so these things are definitely going to have a lot more armor than what you're seeing currently within the game, and not only that, they're going to be able to pack a punch a little bit more because their reload have been significantly reduced depending on what armament you're using. You can see here the 90mm has gone from 8.8 down to 8.6 on the top one, and then the kind of first package has gone down by a second, which is nice, but it's nothing major. And then we have the 76mm here with 3.6 second reload and 0.4 accuracy. Yeah, I guess that they're making them slightly more competitive within the game. One tank that I am pretty stoked about is that the AMX M4 MLE45, the tier 7 heavy tank, or the French Tiger as I like to call it, is getting some buffs to its hull armour on the sides and also the frontal armour. You're also getting buffs to the turret and also the aim time of the 90mm gun, making this thing a lot better within the game. So this is a really, really good time for you to jump into the French heavy tank line, which I would recommend because it leads to the AMX 50B, which is a really, really powerful French auto-loading heavy / medium. You know, it's now classified as medium, but it was a heavy tank to begin with. And the AMX 50-100 and 120 are really, really fun tanks as well at tier 8 and tier 9 respectively. Then we move on to quite possibly the worst tank within World of Tanks, and that is the AMX 65T, the giant, just flat wall of just penning it every single time. This thing has 100mm of frontal hull armour, which is, yes, pretty much the same as the tier 7, but that's been buffed now. It's gone up from 100 to 135, and you're seeing the corners going up from 90 to 100. Don't think that this is going to be sizable enough considering most tanks at tier 8 have like 220mm of penetration with their premium rounds, and to be honest with you, any tank destroyer is going to be way in excess of that, so they're just going to go straight through the front of you regardless of what armour value you really put here without making it actually super broken. Turret 1 then gets basically buffs to its cupola and the view range and the aim time, which I guess these two could be beneficial with the view range and the aim time making it slightly better, but the armour, like we talked about, it's never going to be enough in my personal opinion to make it actually playable. On the second turret, however, the frontal armour goes from 220 to 250, which is nice, so you're going to be able to bounce a few more shots off of the front of your turret, at least hopefully. I mean, yeah. Armour below the gun improved, armour behind the mantlet improved, side armour improved. You can see what's happening here. The armour is just getting massively buffed on all aspects of this tank. And you're also getting a view range buff from 370 to 380, and the same sort of aim time buff as well from 3.2 seconds down to 2.7 seconds. And yeah, your penetration's also increasing quite dramatically actually, by about 30 millimeters of penetration, which is nice on your rounds in the 120mm gun, and so this is going to be much nicer to play, especially with the 285mm of penetration on your premium rounds. You can pretty much go through every single tier 9 and tier 10 tank if you're loading and looking at its weak spots. Obviously then chassis, your terrain resistances have decreased, meaning that the tank is going to be more manoeuvrable within the game, which I just don't think that this tank is ever going to be good. No matter what you do, the actual design of the tank in terms of how it looks and how it actually plays within the game is just not good, and so yeah, you're probably, no matter what you do to the statistics of the vehicle, it just isn't going to be good, and I guess that we'll just have to suck it up when grinding through the French tier 8 heavy tank. Then moving on to the tier 9, we've got the AMX M4 MLE51, the heavy tank, which is turret armor has been buffed as with the previous. Your reload's gone down. We've also got turret armor on the second turret. Basically, that's not changed whatsoever, and the reload has basically been buffed, meaning it's lower. Same with the 127mm, you've lost 1.1 second off your reload, which means it's going to be nicer DPM, and the penetration's gone up slightly with the most significant rise on your premium round. So you'll be able to spam more premium in the French heavy tanks now and pen and be rewarded for it. Hull armor obviously going up on the side armor, which is predominantly where the French heavies just absolutely suck within the game, so that's really, really nice. And then the tier 10, the AMX M4 MLE54 heavy tank will be getting buffs to its side armor and also the reload and the penetration, and the reload on the all guns that is basically able to get. Premium vehicles, the AMX M4 MLE49 will be getting buffs in all regards, whether you buy the standard version, the Eclipse version, the HMH version. They are all getting buffs to the side armor, making it a hell of a lot nicer to side scrape with. Cupola's getting buffed immensely, 60mm all the way up to 150, meaning that the cupola is not really going to be a weak spot anymore, and you'll probably bounce a lot more out of this. Aim time going down, accuracy going down, meaning that they're actually improving the accuracy and aim time. I'm talking about the stat values, and then the reload going down as well. So you'll be able to put out more DPM, be more accurate, and have effective DPM as well. So that's always nice. Same with the FCM50T, better armor, and better armor on the hull and the turret. The Andre the Giant also getting the buffs to the 130mm as with the tier 10 version of the French heavy tank as well. And then as part of this, obviously it's on track event for these tanks, and that will be lasting 2 weeks, so you can actually get 50% discount on all tier 3 to tier 6 French heavy tank lines, and then 30% off of silver between tiers 7 and 10, which is good. And then as part of this, a 25% bonus to your XP on all tech tree tanks within the heavy tank line of the French line. So that's really, really good. I think that this is a good kind of change to the game and change to the French vehicles. Is it going to make them overpowered? Probably not. Is it going to make them a little bit more competitive and less painful to actually grind through, especially if you're going towards the AMX 50B? Yeah, definitely much nicer, and going towards the 50B is where you probably want to go anyway before you go for the tier 10 French heavy tank anyway. So there you go, that is the French heavies done and dusted. Let's have a look at what else we got this week. And if you haven't checked out yesterday's video, which covers the in-depth details on the FV214 Conqueror Mark II, there will be a video coming out tomorrow, which will focus on what this tank actually is like within the game. And so, you'll be able to see that. So stay tuned for a review of the FV214 Conqueror Mark II, which is going to be a very, very interesting video coming out soon. New contract, obviously the machine, you can check that out in yesterday's video as of the recording of this, which focuses on all of the requirements to be able to complete it. You've got 5 months to be able to do it, so don't rush, don't skip halfway through your chisel contract where you've just basically wasted a load of time to get the tier 10 machine. Just complete the chisel first, then go to the machine. That's what I'm going to be doing. I suggest you do the same, but do whatever you want to do. Tanks Reforged, obviously. Then we've got the challenges and events which you can take advantage of, being the ranked event and the tier 10 double silver. Then of course it's week 3 of the Paladin challenge, where you can complete 3 out of 4 weeks of the Paladin challenge to receive the British tier 8 premium heavy tank, which is essentially a Centurion Action X hull with a kind of weird turret. And so it's good to play. In terms of actually getting this, essentially you have to win a battle, same as last week, deal and assist at least 1,000 damage in 10 battles, and then earn 35,000 XP. So that's the same as last week. Once you've done that 3 times for the 4 weeks that this is available, so don't worry if you missed out on a week, you can still get the tank for free. Yes, that's free. We did a review of the tank as well not long ago, which I will link at the end of this video that you can have a look. Now, before we move on to the kind of end of the video, we want to look at the sales of this week and things that you want to actually look at in terms of if you're going to spend some money on the game. Got a couple of actual good deals this week and tanks that you'll probably want to get at some point throughout your World of Tanks career. We've also got the special sale, which is the T-34-88, which is a fairly okay deal for $9.99 if you really want to spend some money, actual money, within World of Tanks and you haven't got gold saved up on your account. In terms of weekly sales, however, for the next week, we have the Final Frontier, which is the Rover 237 light tank. Would I recommend it? Probably not for 3,250 gold. Just don't think it's necessarily that great. Well, it's a great tank. It's very novel. It's super fast chaffy, or T-37 as I like to call it. But yeah, it's more for someone that knows how to play light tanks and enjoys that kind of play style. But 3,000 gold isn't the end of the world if you decide to get it. And then we have probably one of the better ones, which is essentially the E25, and then you get thrown in with another premium tier 5, the Stug 4. The E25 is just an actually broken tank that you can get your hands on. 5,650 gold is not that bad, to be honest with you, and potentially you'd actually want to pick it up. 40% savings, yeah, it's not that actually good because you're thrown in with a tank you probably didn't want if you just want the E25, so take that into account when you're looking at these tanks. Then we have Clearing the Picture, which is the Alf Claring's Panzer Panther, which is my favourite light tank out of them all. It's essentially a tier 7 Panzer 5-4 that you can just ram into things and be an absolute menace to enemy light tanks with, and I just really enjoy the playstyle of it. It's a fun one, you can just go into the game, you don't have to think that much, and yeah, a really enjoyable one. Then the Hawk 30 is also a very competitive light tank actually, and one that I'd actually recommend if you're interested in playing a competitive tier 8 light tank. Not one for the meme value, but it will be able to get you some fairly good results and definitely learn the game as a light tank. So 7,000 gold for both of these. I think it wouldn't be the end of the world if you did purchase it, but it is completely up to you. And then the final bundle, of course, is a 3D Hero Commander that you can spend 2,000 gold for. Yeah, I don't ever really see the point in spending 2,000 gold considering you get premium commanders from the season passes every single time a season pass comes around if you can manage to get up to the higher ranks within it. So I wouldn't recommend it, but if you really are in desperate need of a commander that earns 135% XP and also has 3 skilled crew to begin with, then yeah, pay 2,000 gold and you can get one. Super savings this week, T-78, tier 6 tank destroyer. It's like a rubbish version of the Hellcat. It's not rubbish, it's just when you compare it to the Hellcat's just better in almost every single way, so I wouldn't necessarily purchase this, and especially if you compare it to the Hellcat 105, which is just beyond one of the best tanks I've played at tier 6. Then we have the HMH AMX Model 58 light tank, which is this tank is terrible as well. It has a 105 autoloading gun, but it's just awful in every other regard when you're trying to play it, so I wouldn't really recommend it. And of course, all of the other information, we have the end of the season coming on February 8th, and obviously all of the other information you can see on screen. And yeah, don't forget, if you want to check out information that we haven't covered within this video but you've seen on here, then you can do so on the previous update news videos that we've done and just go back through them and have a look at the British invasion season, etc. If you really want to find out information on these, they are typically timestamped, so you can just go to each specific area within the other videos on our update news playlist on the channel that you can have a look at. And of course, you've got the typical things like the long haul going on. Other than that, let me know what you actually think of this brand new ranked event here and whether or not you'll be taking part. Do you think that the rewards are just super lackluster, having only 1 top secret keycard, 2 classified keycards and 2 confidential keycards for the first top 1 within the entire game? Yeah, I think that they're pretty bad, but hopefully we'll see them change. And of course, let me know what you think about the French heavies. Will you be grinding towards them, or do you think that they'll still be terrible within the game? Let me know, and hopefully you'll join me in the next video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Goodbye.